all the mantras so far. So it starts with the invocation mantra. The invocation mantra is saying that everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. Everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is complete, and everything that comes from Him is also complete in all aspects. And so many complete units are coming from Him, so many universes are coming from Him, but still He remains the complete balance. So, like that. That's the invocation mantra. The first mantra talks about how everything, animate and inanimate, means what is moving, not moving, like that. Animate, inanimate, or you can say inanimate means matter, and animate means that which has consciousness. Both are controlled and owned by the Lord. So one should only take aside what is his own quota given to him by the Lord, and he should not try to take anybody else's property. So that is, you have your quota, and that quota also you should use for serving the Supreme Lord. That quota also belongs to the Supreme Lord, but Supreme Lord has given everybody their quota according to their karma. So one should be satisfied with one's quota. If and knowing also that one's quota is also property of the Supreme Lord. So then if we work in this way, then second mantra says, okay, you'll never be entangled. If you know that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, everything should be used for His service, then there is no bondage to the law of karma. Because you're using, that's called akarma. Right? So it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Yagnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So if we work for the Supreme Lord's sake, then we'll not get karma. That is the second mantra. Then, but who doesn't work in that way? Who does not recognize the Supreme Lord, the killer of the soul? Then he must stay in the world of faithless, full of darkness. It means he must stay in the material world. He cannot go back to the spiritual world. Those who do not sacrifice for the Supreme Lord, who do not recognize the Supreme Lord, who don't have faith, faithless. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.3, I think it's 9.3, Krishna says, Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. So they stay in this material world, in this darkness, those who don't accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. Then it describes about who is the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord he has his residence in Golok Vrindavan, but he can come anywhere. Actually, he is expanded everywhere. And he is very powerful. He's beyond the range of sense perception. And he controls all the big controllers. So Krishna is called the controller of controllers. Normally, controller, what is the word used for controller? What is the
Ishwar.
Ishwar. And Krishna is called
Parameshwar.
Parameshwar. So he's the controller. He's the supreme controller. He controls all those demigods also. And everybody reports to him. So we say Ekala Ishwar Krishna Arsabhritya. And however he makes everybody dance, that's how everybody dances to his tune. Okay, so that's all the description of the Supreme Lord. He walks and does not walk. He's far away. But he's very near as well. So as Paramatma, he's near. He's within everything, yet he's outside of everything. So he can be present in multiple places simultaneously. That is what this verse is saying. He's not limited. And anybody who sees everybody in relation to Supreme Lord and everything in relation to Supreme Lord He never hates anything or any being because everybody is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So this is description of the devotee, one who knows the Supreme Lord's position. Okay, he never hates any being. Normally, we hate somebody when they act against our self-interest, right? Our act against our desires for enjoyment. If somebody acts as an obstacle, then we hate that person. But because the devotee has no desire for sense enjoyment, so that's why he doesn't get affected by enemies and friends. So we say for devotee, his enemy is not born. Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhubhushana Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehina. He is well-wishing friend. Now, when we say devotee, means this is a very high-class devotee, very great devotee, pure devotee. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with the Lord. So everybody is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one in quality, different in quantity. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So we read all that. So he's not into anxiety because he has no material desires. When you have no material desires, then you're peaceful. And no material desires and faith that Krishna will protect me, Krishna will maintain me. That's the symptom of surrender. Rakshashiti Vishwasha Gopatritve Varanam Tatha. Gopatritve Varanam. Like that. So if one has no material desires and has full faith in the Supreme Lord, he has no anxiety. And Krishna is the enjoyer, like that. So such a person, he knows Supreme Lord. And that same Lord who has been fulfilling everybody's desire. So Nityo Nityanam Chetnas Chetnanam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. That's Katha Upanishad. That we are all living entities. There are multiple plural living entities. But amongst all the living entities, there is one who is the supreme and is fulfilling the needs or the desires of all the others. Okay, so that's what it is described. So it is described how the devotee sees the Supreme Lord. And those who don't worship the Supreme Lord, those who don't accept the Supreme Lord, they stay in the material world, in the darkest of ignorance. And then how a devotee sees everybody as qualitative part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord. And like that. So now it is going in the other direction. Isopanishad is saying, well, those who do not accept the supremacy of the Lord and who do not accept his guidance and act according to their own whims, uh, then what happens to them? So that is the verse number 9. Andham tama pravishanti. Pravesh means to enter. Andham means blind. Tama means ignorance, darkness. Ye vidyam, ye avidyam upasate. A is silent here. Avidyam upasate. Those who are in upasana means to worship. Those who are in ignorance, they worship the ignorance means they like. So we'll see what is ignorance, what is vidya, what is avidya. Tato bhuya ivate tamo ya uvidyayam rataha. So tata, then that, and more than that, bhuya, still more than that. They are those who engage in the so-called culture of knowledge. So let's see. Those who engage in the culture of nascent activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. So one of the defects of conditioned soul is that they think they know everything. So that is more dangerous, right? Then they think they know everything and they are proposing theories. That is the one of the defects is, right? What is the tendency? Tendency to?
Cheat.
Yeah, tendency to cheat others. Although they don't know, they act as if they know. And so-called knowledge, right? So-called knowledge means it's not real knowledge. Sometimes they say material knowledge is not real knowledge. Real knowledge is spiritual knowledge. But knowledge about matter is knowledge, but it's an inferior category of knowledge. Like Prabhupada was once talking to Dr. Benford, and he was saying that Atma Gyan is more important than material knowledge, right? Because who you are, and then material knowledge means knowledge about how matter interacts with each other. And you can write volumes of books on how the grass grows. He was saying like that, how the grass came into existence, how the grass grows, how the grass is, all this, so many things we can write. But what is the use of that? So if you don't have Atma Gyan. So sometimes we think, yeah, PhDs and all this, very knowledgeable. Yeah, but this is all material knowledge. Krishna says, what does he say in the Bhagavad Gita about such people? What is the phrase he uses? Those who are very learned and very um, in so-called, material knowledge, but they don't have. What does Krishna say? What is the word he uses?
Mudha, foolish.
Foolish, yes. And what is the actual verse saying like that? That their knowledge has been stolen
Stolen
Stolen.
by illusion.
Stolen by
by illusion. And what is the phrase? Anybody remembers the phrase that Krishna, Sanskrit phrase Krishna uses?
Avajanati Mamu.
Mayaya aparita jnana.
Apahirta Jnanam, yeah.
Maya Bharata.
Aparita means aparan. Aparan means kidnap. Yeah, Maya has taken away their real knowledge. So they have this knowledge. Oh, they are thinking we are not this knowledge, that, but they don't have knowledge about Atma Gyan. So they think everything is coming from matter. So it's matter that has produced life. Prabhupada is a book, right? BBT has published a book. Life comes from life. Life does not come from matter. So it is not that you combine matter and you can produce life. So that is not. Prabhupada would challenge, if just produce a mosquito in the laboratory, we will give you all the chemicals and everything. Just produce a mosquito like that. Life comes from life. Life does not come from matter. But there are so many people who are trying to figure out, material knowledge, and they think this is everything like that. So that's a problem. So purport, let's see. This mantra offers a comparative study of Vidya and Avidya. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous. But Vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. So we say half-baked knowledge, right, is very dangerous. If you're in ignorance, at least you can say that you're in ignorance. This mantra of Sri Isopanishad is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education. But the result is that, I hope this stops. So, where is the sound coming from? Okay. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but Vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. This mantra of Sri Isopanishad is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Because now we have so much material knowledge, right? So many things, so much technology. So we maybe become like too much enamored by this technology and all these things that we may forget the goal of life. And now we have so many Disneyland. There was no previously Disneyland, right? Now with technology, they've made all these things, the rides and so many things, and we can become very much diverted by all these things. And so much chat is going on, Facebook chat and this chat and Yahoo chat and Google chat. And so ignorance is being propagated, right? Everybody's putting their picture on Facebook and they're thinking, this is me, this is who I am. The bodily conception of life is becoming even more stronger. So spiritual life means to get out of this bodily conception of life, to understand who I am, to understand the bigger picture. But now, because everybody is so many ways to enjoy the senses, so we are so absorbed in this sense gratification that we have forgotten actually the purpose of life, who we are. Like that. That's why it is more dangerous. And there's so much technology being advanced, like AI and so many things, and people are working day and night, trying to figure out how to make it better, even better, even better. And so in that pursuit, there is no spiritual quest. It kills the desire for spiritual quest when one becomes too much enamored, which Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhogeshwariya prasaktanam taya prita chetasa. They cannot see the whole bigger picture that I'm spirit soul. My body is going to burn one day, going to become ashes or stool, and I'm going to go to another life form. And I've been in this material existence going birth, death, old age, disease, because we are too much attracted by these desires. Bhogeshwariya prasaktanam taya prita chetasam vyavasayitmika buddhi samadhav na vidiyate. And we have made up so many duties and so many things in life, unnecessary things, and we don't have time to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, which is the main way to make spiritual advancement. We have no time for that, like that. So that's why Prabhupada is saying, not for all the devotees, but this general speaking, this mantra of Sri Isopanishad is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education, but the result is that people are more unhappy than ever before because of the stress placed on material advancement, to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect. So everybody wants their children to be materially well established. So they are doing all they are enrolling them in so many activities, but they are not giving spiritual knowledge. So because they don't consider that this is very important. So priorities have changed. In Satya Yuga, they were more conscious of spiritual advancement. They would put stress on this, and material thing is there, of course, something we have to do to sustain. But now more emphasis is placed on material progress and how to enjoy sense gratification than making spiritual advancement. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And that is why people are more unhappy than ever, because the bird is starving. The cage is being polished, but the bird is starving. So despite all these things, people are not satisfied, and they're going to psychiatrists, and there is broken families, and so many things are happening, all because of all these desires for material sense gratification, material advancement, and everything is viewed from a material angle. What's in it for me, right? So that is why there is a lot of stress nowadays. Stress is one of the biggest killers because it will cause blood pressure, heart attack, and all these things comes from stress. So human life means free from anxiety, joyful, right? Joyful, free from anxiety, and not like bogged down by all these material things. And so that's where we want to go. So and but the modern world, modern civilization puts so much stress. Right now there is so much stress to perform. In India there is so much competition, and there is so much stress on the children to shine out, and everybody is competing. So there is all these things are happening. And then there is job scarcity. Even if you do PhD or thing, you may not get a job. So after all this hard work, you have to, another stress is whether I'll get a job or not. So like that, there is so much stress. But if we chant Hare Krishna and if we become God conscious, then Krishna will provide. That's the idea. Because ultimately everything is controlled by Krishna. We are reading that how Prabhupada, he was saying that I came with nothing, but now I have, property worth hundreds of crores of rupees. And we are spending 25 lakhs, he was saying in 1970. Every month, 25 lakh rupees we are spending. And how is this coming? Because Krishna is providing. So the idea is that if we become Krishna conscious, then everything what we need for our sustenance will be provided by Krishna. So, but when we want to enjoy in this material world, which is not our real purpose in this, and then we are limited by our karma. So according to our karma, we'll get. But if we want to fulfill the purpose of human life, if Krishna feels that it is necessary for us to propagate Krishna, Krishna will provide everything. So that story is there, right? You polish the cage, but you feed them. So the food for soul, if you don't chant Hare Krishna, if you don't read Bhagavatam, if you don't read Bhagavad Gita, and only simply work for this body, how to get more money and how to buy a better house and all these things, how to buy a better car, and whole our consciousness is focused on this, then even if we get all these things, we will not be satisfied because we'll want more. And like Vaman Dev tells Bali Maharaj that for a person whose senses are uncontrolled, even if he gets everything, he will not be happy. Or like Hiranyakashipu, he had practically everything, but he was not happy. So that is what is happening. A lot of rich people are also committing suicide. They are in depression and many things because of the neglect of the food to the soul, the real I. So we can be self-satisfied. Ya Atma Suprasidati. If we chant Hare Krishna and understand this philosophy of Krishna consciousness, I'm just passing through in this body. There is nothing to gain, nothing to lose. And things will come by my karma. But I'm not going to be here forever. This too shall pass. Then you can get de-stressed from all these things. And mostly it is how our mind perceives. So as far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything. That the first mantra is Ishavashyam idam sarvam yad kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kashyas vidhanam. It's saying that Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. So everything belongs to the Lord. My body also belongs to the Lord. My mind, my body, everything belongs to the Lord. Whatever I have assets which Krishna has given me, they also belong to the Lord. The more a man forgets this fact of life means that Krishna is the proprietor. The more he is in darkness. In view of this, a godless civilization directed towards the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated. Like in village, people are less educated, right? Maybe they have done 3rd grade, 5th grade. They are less dangerous, Prabhupada is saying. The educated is putting in apostrophes. So this is not real education, but whatever you say. They are less dangerous. Or the people who are in the so-called advancement of education, they are more dangerous, a godless civilization, because they are very intelligent and so they can invent so many things for mass destruction, right? Like all these weapons, like missiles and guns and bombs. And they are considered the leaders of society. So they are more dangerous. People view them as very educated. And so they will misguide the whole civilization. Of the different classes of men, karmis, jnanis, and yogis. The karmis are those who are engaged in different activities of sense gratification. So karmi means he wants enjoyment. He wants uh, whatever he's doing, he wants to get some enjoyment out of it for sense enjoyment. In the modern civilization, 99.9% of the people are engaged in the activities of sense gratification under the flags of industrialism, economic development, altruism, political activism, and so on. So, under different nomenclature, ultimately everybody wants sense gratification, whether you call it this way or that way. Hmm. You give, Prabhupada is saying, you give different words, but ultimately everybody, it is the culture of sense gratification. All these activities are more or less based on satisfaction of senses to the exclusion of the kind of God consciousness described in the first mantra. Means we want to exclude God. In the language of Bhagavad Gita 7:15, people who are engaged in gross sense gratification are mudas, asses. Why ass is considered like that? Foolish. Because he thinks that unless I work for very hard for my master, I will not get my food. So that is what he is thinking. And but Prabhupada would say that grass is available. If he makes little effort, he can get grass, he can fulfill himself, satisfy himself. But he thinks like that, okay, that's why he's considered full. That's why he works whole day carrying the washerman's clothes. So similarly, this in human civilization, we are all in illusion. So we think that, oh, unless I work very hard, then I will not enjoy. And people say, oh, you're not being productive, right? You're not, what is your worth? You're not being productive. If somebody retires early and wants to chant Hare Krishna, and they think, we're not being productive, they will say, why you are doing like this now? So, although they have enough, but so, so Maya, there's a nice song, the Maya makes a donkey. Let's sing that song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Let me see if I can find it. It's a very hard-hitting song. You might know which song I'm referring to. Vidyara Vilase. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this song. Vidyara Vilase Katainu Kala Parama Sahase Ami Tumara Charana Na bhajinu kabhu ekho na sharana tumi. So if you know Bengali, you can understand. পড়িতে পড়িতে ভরসা বাড়িল জ্ঞানে গতি হবে মানি সে আশা বিফল সে জ্ঞান দুর্বল সে জ্ঞান অজ্ঞান জানি जड़ विद्या जता मायारा वैभव तुम्हारा भजन बाधा मोह जनमिया अनित्य संसारे जीवा के कोराए गाधा. And this is the one I'm saying. Jiva ke korae gadha. Gada means ass. Because of the illusion, moha janamiya anitya sansare jiva ke korae gadha. সেই গাধা হয়ে সংসারেরা বোঝা বহিনু অনেক কালা বার্ধক্যে খোনা শক্তিরা অভাবে কিছু নাহি লাগে ভালো जीवन जातन जीवन जाताना होइले खोन से विद्या विद्या भेलो अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिलो विषम से विद्या होइलो सिंधु तुम्हारा चरण बिना किच्छु धन संसारे न आछे यार भक्ति विनोद जड़ विद्या छाड़ी तू पदे कोरे सार विद्यार विलासे काटाइनु काल परम साहसे. So let's read the translation. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, with great enthusiasm, I spent my time in the pleasures of mundane learning, means acquiring degrees and all that, and never worshipped your lotus feet. Oh Lord, now you are only you are my only shelter. So of course, devotees are doing both, but he's saying like that. Reading on and on, my hopes grew and grew, for I considered the acquisition of material knowledge to be life's true goal. How fruitless those hopes turned out to be, for all my knowledge proved feeble. Now I know that all such erudition is actually pure ignorance. All the so-called knowledge of this world is born of the flickering potency of your illusory energy, Maya. It is an impediment to the execution of devotional service to you, because we get attracted. It is otherwise it's a blessing in one sense. We can have so many things. We can hear anytime, anywhere. Indulgence in mundane knowledge verily makes an ass of the eternal soul by encouraging his infatuation with this temporary world. So he becomes too attracted. Infatuated means so much attracted that he cannot see. And he becomes like an ass. He works very, very hard. Even Prahlad Maharaj says that I am not worried about Naivo Dvije Paradurattaya Vaitaranyas Tvad Virya Gayan Mahamrita Magna Chitta Shoche Tatho Vimukha Chetasa Indriyartha Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudan. I am not afraid of material existence because I am chanting your glories. I am absorbed in you. Oh, Narsingadev. If you remember Narsingadev, then there is no fear, right? So I am not afraid of material existence. But I'm lamenting. I'm in anxiety for all these conditioned souls. Shochetato, those who have turned away from you. Why? For the purpose of establishing a nice material situation for sense gratification. To enjoy Maya Sukh. And they are taking so much load on their shoulders. Maya Sukhaya, Maya Sukha Bharam, Udvahato Vyudan, this specially foolish persons, Vimudan. So like that. Here is one person who has been turned into such an ass. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I am the one, I am like an ass, who for so long has carried on his back the useless burden of material existence. Now I become old. For want of power to enjoy, I find that nothing at all pleases me. Life has now become agony, for my so-called erudite knowledge has proven itself to be worthless. Ignorance. Because all this knowledge cannot really save you from the cycle of birth and death. I mean, you can get some prolonged life because you have some disease, but without spiritual knowledge and attraction to Krishna, then this material knowledge has now become a pointed shaft and has pierced my heart with the intolerable burning pain of ignorance. So when you become old, then you can't enjoy sense enjoyment also. Body starts failing and like that. They say, oh Lord, there is no treasure worth seeking in this world other than your lotus feet. Bhaktivinoda abandons all his mundane knowledge and makes your lotus feet the sum and substance of his life. So other than Krishna consciousness, nothing is worth pursuing in this world. That's the conclusion he has come to. Anyway, I just remembered the song. So in the language of Bhagavad Gita, people who are engaged in gross sense gratification are mudas, asses. Because the ass is working very hard, whether he thinks that I have to establish a very nice material situation, I have to work, but he can get. And another thing is, ass is always, they have tied a stick with a carrot in front. So the ass is thinking, if I walk a little bit further, then I will get the carrot. But why doesn't he get the carrot? Because who can say? Why he doesn't get the carrot?
Because the carrot is tied with some rope, right? And
Carrot is tied to his own body with her, yeah.
yeah,
So when he moves, then the stick and the carrot also moves further. Mhm. So similarly, in this material world, we think, oh, when I will graduate, then I will have this, then I will get married, then I will get this, then I will get a child, then I will get this, then I will get my grandson, then I will get this, then I will be very happy. So it's also moving target, right? You always think, when I get this, then I will be happy. Then I get that, then something else we want. After you get that, then something else you want. And in this pursuit, where is the time, as Shankaracharya says, uh, where is the time to think about the Supreme Lord and dedicate your life to Him? It says in the young age, we are attracted to playing with toys. In youth, we are attracted to the opposite gender. In old age, we are thinking about our health. Oh, where is the time to think about the absolute truth? So, like that. So that's why sometimes we should just take a step back and say, okay, like when we chant Hare Krishna, we should take sannyas, at least for 2.5 hours. Take sannyas. Forget everything. Don't think about your real identity. Forget all the upadhis of this world. I am the son of such and such. This is my house. I have such degree. I am this. Forget everything. I am servant of Krishna. And in that consciousness, we should chant japa like Mahatma Prabhu has that, right? Krishna, you are my some. So we connecting it with Krishna. So like that. Forget all that. Because all these designations are not going to last. Any moment, as soon as you leave the body, the designations are lost. This is my son, this is my father, this is my mother. My mother passed away. So now that's it. There is no more connection. It's gone. Where that living entity has gone in so many, we don't know. Of course, Krishna takes care of everybody, but there's no way to connect. It's like we depart, never to meet again. Like sometimes they say goodbye until we meet again, right? But this death means you depart, you never to meet again because you don't know who is going where. So, so this is how it is. So we should not become too enamored by this situation. That's what that's ass. The ass is a symbol of stupidity because he has enough, but he still works very hard. He doesn't work hard to get out of material existence, but he works hard to stay in the material existence, to get himself more and more entangled. That's why at some point they said time out, right? We said to children, time out now, no more mischief. So we said time out now, mind time out. You did everything, all your gimmicks you did. Now time out. Now this life, this portion of life, like Prabhupada said like that, right? I read the quote today on our ISKCON Columbus satsang where Prabhupada says, yeah, dedicate this one life to Krishna. Uh, I am requesting, this is a quote, as we told Bhakti Charu Maharaj also, I am requesting all of my disciples that for this one lifetime, you give all of your energy and service to Krishna. So life after life, we have engaged in the service of Maya. So this life, let's do something else. So like that. And you can do with your job and everything, but yeah, the consciousness, basically. Let's become fully Krishna conscious. Those who simply engage. And if you have enough, then engage your life in preaching Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, we want so many preachers to go and preach. The ass is a symbol of stupidity. Those who simply engage in the profitless pursuit of sense gratification are worshipping avidya, according to Sri Isopanishad. And those who play this role of helping this sort of civilization. So Prabhupada says profitless pursuit of sense gratification. It is profitless, means there is no real benefit because you'll rotate in the cycle of birth and death. Are worshipping avidya, according to Sri Upanishad. And those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement are actually doing more harm than those who are on the platform of gross sense gratification. So people are giving so much for education, right? Material education, they're giving free scholarships. There are some people who are very famous and they want to sponsor the education, material education for So many people like that. They're helping this educational advancement. And Prabhupada is saying they are doing more harm than those who are on the platform of cross-sense gratification. Of course, we all may have taken advantage of the scholarship and things like that. But so should we not study, make a career? Yeah, you have to study, make career, but don't get too much sidetracked by these things. Know that you are spirit soul and everything will finish in one moment. So become Krishna conscious. The advancement of learning by a godless people is as dangerous as a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra. Cobra is dangerous, but if the cobra is a jewel, then you feel, wow, I should get the jewel. And then you try to get the jewel and the cobra bites you. Or somebody who has many degrees, when they speak something, people tend to take them very seriously. Oh, all these jewels they have, like PhDs, but they don't know Atma Gyan. But oh, he's a scientist, he's like this, is that. And if they don't know, then people, when they speak something or they publish a book, they write all their qualifications on the top. Oh, this MD, this, that, this. And people think, oh, he's very learned, I should read what he says. And then they propagate their philosophy. So a cobra decorated with a valuable jewel is more dangerous than one not decorated. Hmm. So people who are less educated are not that attractive. But people who are more educated in material degrees, they're very attractive. And then one can become, you know, mm, misguided by them. In the Bhari Bhakti Suddhodaya, the advancement of education by godless people is compared to decorations on a dead body. Means you may have nice buildings, right? You go to Hong Kong or New York downtown, you have nice glossy skyscraper buildings with shining glasses and everything looks very, organized and everything. But Prabhupada says it's like a decoration on a dead body. A dead body you can decorate very nicely and may look it like may make it look like very beautiful, and you may even put some ornaments and things like that. But it's a dead body. So Prabhupada says this advancements of education by godless people is compared to decorations on a dead body. There's a verse. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japa Tapa Apranasya Eva Dehasya Mandalam Lokaranjanam. So without Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, Prabhupada quotes this many times. Let's find it. That's the verse he's talking to. So without Bhagavad Bhakti, you may do all your japa and tapa and everything. It's all like a decoration. If there is no, it doesn't culminate in in attraction for the Supreme Lord and His service. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japastapa Apranasyeva Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. I pulled this verse here. Yeah, thank you. For a person devoid of devotional service, birth in a great family or nation, knowledge of the revealed scriptures, performance of austerities and penance, and chanting of Vedic mantras are all like ornaments on a dead body. Such ornaments simply serve the concocted pleasures of the general populace. So there are many verses like that. Krishna says, you may perform your duties very nicely. Bhagavatam says, Dharmasvanusita pumsam visvakshena kathasuya notpadayed yadi ratim shrama evahi kevalam. Yeah, if you do all your duties very nicely according to Varnashram, not Devi Varnashram, but just Varnashram, but it does not result in any attraction for devotional service, then it's all, you have done hard work for nothing because it will be all end. It's simple thing, right? But the simple thing is very difficult to understand. Like Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is simple, but sometimes that simple thing to understand takes so much, um, takes so much effort. that we are not this body, we are spirit, soul. Simple thing, right? But because we are conditioned in a wrong way for so many lifetimes, so it is very difficult to understand. And that is why so many people are dying. Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam seshastvaram icchanti kimashari athaparam. Everybody is dying every day, but we are thinking we are leading our life as if we are going to be around forever. So that is uh, what is greater astonishment than this. So seeing we don't see. Pashyanapi na pashyati. It is described. Pashyanapi na pashyati. You see, but you don't see. Because we are in like a different mindset of. So here it says, there's another verse. Dehapatya kalatra dishva atmaseneshva asatsvapi tesham pramato nidhanam pashyanapi na pashyati. Pashyati means to see. Pashyanapi na pashyati means don't see. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. So again, this attachment, because of the attachment, you cannot see the actual picture. Otherwise, Bhagavatam says one should be shaken up by fear. With every passing day and night, one should be shaken up by fear and become very serious about Krishna consciousness. What verse is that? Aho ratris siddhyamanam.
Budvayo bhava
The word
beputam
number?
mukta sangha param budvani pash. What did you say?
There's a verse, right?
अहोरात्रिश्चिद्यमानां बुद्धियोर्भय मुक्तिसङ्गा परं बुद्ध्वा निरीह उपाश्रमति.
And we can pull up that verse if I can find it for everybody to see. This Bhagavatam is speaking to us, right? So that means it doesn't mean we become paranoid or like we become fearful, but yeah, we have to become, yeah, my time is coming to an end every passing day. So did I make progress in Krishna consciousness? Did I do something to come closer to Krishna today? What did I do? Yeah, what is the number? Verse number?
11, 20, 16.
Yeah, so let's read that. Of course, you all are doing so much, and we have to improve the quality and the quantity. Aho ratris. Aho means by day and night. Ratris. Chidyamanam. It is being cut. What? Budhva. Budhva knowing our ayur is being cut. Chidyamanam by every passing day and night. Bhaya veputhu. Bhagavatam is saying, Bhaya, tremble in fear. Because death is coming. Mukta sangha param budhva. Niriha upashamyati. So, mukta sangha, become free from attachment. Param budhva, understanding, knowing the Supreme Lord. Niriha upashamyati, without material desire, and achieve perfect peace. Knowing that one's duration of life is being similarly cut down by the passing of days and nights, one should be shaken by fear. In this way, giving up all material attachment and desire, one understands the Supreme Lord and achieves perfect peace. So Prabhupada says, with every passing day and night, Ayur Harati Vaipumsam, the sun is taking away our lifespan. So we should spend our time in hearing, chanting, which is the essence of all advice, hearing, chanting, and ultimately absorbing our mind, which is the ultimate goal, to think of Krishna. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. So initially we don't have attraction. So we cannot stick to it, right? Parikshit Maharaj, he was 7 days, 7 nights. Today is Ekadashi, right? Ekadashi means you drop everything else and chant. You chant and hear about Krishna, or do some service for Krishna. Or you can cook a nice meal for Krishna, non-Ekadashi meal for Radha Krishna. You don't have to make them observe Ekadashi also. But yeah. So Prabhupada says this verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service. You have to accelerate. Time and tide wait for no man. So the time indicated by the sunrise and sunset will be uselessly wasted. So we have to accelerate our devotional service, means we have to accelerate the change of our consciousness. Ultimately, that is what everything is meant to change our consciousness, so to accelerate, to get out of this material consciousness and come to spiritual consciousness. So, in India, as in many other countries, some people follow the custom of leading a procession with a decorated dead body for the pleasure of lamenting relatives. In the same way, modern civilization, this is a nice statement. You may want to take note. I like this. In the same way, modern civilization is a patchwork of activities meant to cover the perpetual miseries of material existence. So, because it is miserable, we try to find something enjoyable, right? Some sense gratification, something like that, to forget the actual misery of life. So like a person has died, but to forget that the person is gone, you decorate the dead body and say, oh, how nice the person is looking, and something like that. But of course, every sane person knows that the soul is gone. It is useless now. This dead body is useless. So Prabhupada says modern civilization is a patchwork of activities. So we do so many activities and not solve the real problems of life, to forget death, old age, disease. And if somebody reminds you, you say, oh, you're being too pessimistic. You're being too pessimistic. So that's how it is. So it's a patchwork of activities. We get engrossed in so many different things that we don't focus on the miseries of material existence. All such activities are aimed towards sense gratification. So all such activities to distract us. But above the senses is the mind, and above the mind is the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul. Thus, the aim of real education should be self-realization, realization of the spiritual values of the soul. Hmm. So, real education, now Prabhupada is saying, what is real Vidya? To understand our relationship with God and to get out of this, go back to our home. Any education which does not lead to such realization must be considered avidya or nations. So, any education you may do, if it does not lead to self-realization, then what is that verse? If anything that does not really lead to self-realization, does not lead to renunciation, then you can paste the and to culture such nations means to go down
Yeah.
darkest region of ignorance. So you can type that verse number. No, verse number. That's also Bhagavatam verse. And to culture such nations means to go down to the darkest region of ignorance. Yes. Neha Yat Karma and the number. You can pull it up. According to the Bhagavad Gita, 3:23:56. Okay, let me pull this up. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevayai jivan api mrito hi saha. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life. So if you are working, but it does not bring it to religious life, means understanding our relationship with anyone whose religious ritualistic performance do not raise him to renunciation, means it does not produce vairagya from things that are not favorable. And anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. So, so this is ultimately the purpose of all this engaging, is to come to the platform of renunciation, and renunciation should lead us to devotional service. If it doesn't, then it is not fruitful. We may do so many religious, ritualistic ceremonies, like people do this katha and that katha, but it doesn't give them the real knowledge. Then what is the use if it does not culminate in So, and to culture such nations means to go down to the darkest region of ignorance. Okay, what is the time? It's 10:20. So we may not be able to finish this, so we'll take on tomorrow. So I would like to pause here and I'll bookmark this so that tomorrow we can continue from here. But if you have any comments, then you can share. Is it okay or is it too heavy? What Prabhupada is saying is too heavy. Okay, nobody has any comments?
It's not heavy, Prabhu.
It's not heavy. Okay. Is that Koma?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Anything else anybody like to say?
I like that cobra example, Prabhuji. Really like a cobra with a valuable. I really like that because see, once we are attached to that jewel, so we have to get entrapped with the cobra. So there is no way to get out of that cobra. So in the same way, like when we are attached to this like external energy of the Lord Maya, so we have to get entrapped. I really like that example, Prabhuji, cobra. With the valuable jeweler, and then how Prabhupada explained the decoration with dead body decoration. We have seen that in India, like some actress died and then decorated everything, and they took the dead body in front of the audience. There is no need to decorate the dead body. What's the use?
Yeah, here also they decorate that dead body, so people can come and offer their. There is a professional. It's professional services. You have to spend also on funeral. You spend so much money. In India, you just gather some wood, put the body on the funeral pyre, and just light it, which can be done with some hundreds of rupees now, maybe. But here you have to spend thousands of dollars. So, so that is there. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, here, like in the translation, Prabhupada explained nascent activities. So, nascent activities, what does it really mean, Prabhuji? I didn't understand.
Yeah. So, nations is ignorance. So, nation is like ignorant activities. So, let's see the dictionary definition: lacking knowledge. So, nascent. Like we have that famous saying, Godhead is light, and what is that? In the Back to Godhead, they say, Maya is darkness, Godhead is light, wherever there is darkness. So ignorance. So those who engage in the culture of ignorant activities means which are not recommended by Shastra and not for the purpose of self-realization. Prabhupada says like that in the purport. So shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. So in the culture of ignorance, like what does Keshav Maharaj say like that, right? A lie becomes like when a lie is spoken, so it becomes like a culture, right?
First, they say that lie, if you speak to many people, it seems truth. And if you live in that truth, it becomes a tradition, culture. And then you born in that culture, it becomes a tradition.
Tradition. So it's a
Or
culture.
actually, it is a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie. And he says the biggest lie
So one can be happy in the material world.
that by material adjustments and material, you think one can be happy. So let's see here that. It's only 2 minutes. Uncovering the biggest lie. We heard this, but yeah, so this is a lie actually that we can be happy by material adjustment. So let me share this. I think if I share my screen in Zoom, you don't have to share the sound. Let's see what it says.
This time, become so-called truths. enough people accept that truth, it becomes a culture. And when that culture is transmitted to the next generation, it becomes a tradition. People are then born into those traditions and base their entire life around it, usually without question. Amidst the mass of people are some unique individuals who begin to challenge what everyone else passively accepts. It takes courage to question, intelligence to search, and determination to change. Are you ready to go against the grain?
Okay, there's a different video, but yeah. Okay, anything else? We'll stop otherwise. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.